Looking for some basic tips on how to use both assistive and mainstream technology in general? Check out the Teachability section on our website.
The opinions expressed on Teachavision are solely those of the guests and hosts and do not represent other companies or third parties. Thank you for listening.
Hello, and welcome to Teachavision, a podcast by Screenless Allies, where everyone has a different vision of learning. And now, here's your host, Jose Briceño.
Hello there, everyone. Welcome to episode number 56 of Teachavision. Again, thank you so much to everyone that listens to these podcasts from beginning to end, and we hope that you have enjoyed them so far. Well, here we are. We made it to the end. If you made it to the end of the story, then thank you for keeping up with us. And on this part of the story, Mariah and I talk about basically what happened. How did I resign from camp early? And also, what happened after I left? Did I continue fighting? Did I just decide to throw in the towel and be like, you know what? She can fend for herself? Well, all this and more will be answered on this part of the story. And actually, this is the end of the story. So again, thank you very much for keeping up with us on this story. I know that this is definitely not the format of Teachavision, but we don't like to sugarcoat stuff, as you know. We don't just cover the good stuff. We're going to cover the woes of people who are blind and what we have to go through. So this story was one of those that we wanted to cover. So here we are. So again, we really hope that you've enjoyed these stories and that you have learned something from this story, and that if you meet somebody in the future that's totally blind, some of this story might help you be more understanding of the disability. So again, this is all about how I left the program and also squeaky wheels. All this and more right here on this final part of the story on Teachavision by Screenless Allies.
I had another kid after you left who the physical education-esque activities, some of them were not very well accommodated. And I don't remember what the game was, but it was something that had to do with colors, depended on colors and just something. And he flat out was like, I'm not playing. And the activity leader was like, oh, come on, it'll be fun. They were trying to coax him, and he said, no, I'm not playing. More often than not, in most of the activities, I was always kind of just on the sidelines, just like,
because most of those activities
because like, well, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? So I saw him on the sidelines, and I sat down with him, and I said, do you want to tell me why you don't want to play? And he goes, because it's not fair. And I said, well, what's not fair? He's like, this game isn't fair for me. And I was like, no, it's not, is it? The kid was old enough. He was maybe 14. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have two conversations with you. One's going to be blind person to blind person, and the other one's going to be camper to counselor. We're going to have the camper to counselor conversation first. So I had to tell him that he had to apologize to the activity leader and that we would explain to the activity leader together what he was feeling. But then I was like, look, dude, I was like, it's a predominantly sighted world out there. And I said, there are two things you can do. You can either sulk like you're doing now, or you can ask for some sort of accommodation. So what's it going to be? What are you going to do? And the activity leader got a little mad at me for interfering, but it was what needed to be done. She didn't understand why he didn't think it was fair, but I did. I knew why it wasn't fair. They were playing a game that involved you having to run around and touch different colored flags or something like that. Like, I don't even remember what it was. It wasn't anything that he could have easily, like, what fun was he going to have doing that? I don't blame him for sitting off on the sidelines.
And
shoot, no.
And that was for all activities, though, for all of us. Even as counselors, that was the thing that we had. I remember it because they had an activity showcase, and I'd be like, okay, but how's a blind person going to play this? Can you tell me that? How's a blind person going to play this game?
Yeah.
And most of the time it was, apart from Ryan going, she didn't understand why I was doing that until I told her watch. And
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I really haven't
exactly.
thought about it.
yeah. And after
Yeah, that's obvious.
after 2 times, I was going, told you. And she went,
Yeah.
shut up. She-
I did. I was like, shh.
yeah. Well, because
That's
she
enough out of
didn't.
you.
I mean, I get it. Maybe her brain wasn't working that day. I don't know.
I'm going to be straight. Like, this was a demanding job. And by like week 4, I sound like not even going to lie, I sound slightly deranged. One of the things that I got in trouble for was not doing a lot of activity interaction. And I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? You've got everybody else out there in the gym or on the stage or in the whatever else. What do you want from me? I could never get a straight answer.
Yeah.
I never got a straight answer as to what was wanted from me.
We finished successfully when we both left, but it wasn't over yet. I wasn't done.
No.
I was not done yet.
I'm over here getting more and more deranged, and this man is like fighting the good fight. I'm still trying to slog along and prove to them that I can do this job regardless of what they say, and he's over here working behind the scenes.
Something in me wanted to continue fighting for it.
If you need help with how to use a feature or troubleshooting the current Braille display line from the company Humanware, check out the Brailliant section on our website, where you will find articles that are easy to understand and to the point.
I talked to somebody else that worked there at one point, and they said, Jose, why don't you present to one of the committees? And I'm like, what do you mean? The ones that fund this thing. I'm going to help you create a slideshow, and then I'm also going to help you create a letter to the big boss. Not any of the hierarchy.
Oh yeah, because there was the big boss, and then there was like the director.
Yes. So there was a big boss. The director was there, but he didn't know what went on with both of us.
Oh no, he had no clue. The only time you saw him were Sundays and... Did you see him Sundays?
Yeah. Sundays and
the only
Fridays.
time that he was ever seen around... I'm sure he was like cruising around in his golf cart or something, but like he was only seen by everyone on Sundays and Fridays.
Yes. So
for the various opening and closing ceremonies.
So the lady, and I'm going to keep them anonymous as well. The lady that told me to do it said, I want you to write a letter, and then I want you to make a slide presentation over your experience. Of course, Mariah had no idea what I was doing. I just told her the best is yet to come. Brace yourself. Yeah. I kept it as under wraps as I could. So I wrote the letter. I did the presentation. And then one day, Mariah looks at Facebook before I do. She liked the page of the program. And there was a status that said, X person and Y person are no longer working here. And I remember...
Oh, yeah!
Yeah. And she called me and said...
Oh, I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
She said...
Oh my God, I was laughing so hard. I was like, are you aware that X and Y aren't working here anymore? Oh my God, this is hilarious.
Well, what the thing is, I didn't know what was going to happen. See, I sent the letter and I sent the presentation, but I wasn't aware of what would happen. I thought, well, I mean, I sent it. It's going to be just one of those under the rug things swept under the rug. No, but the letter did more than that because 2 weeks later, we got that Facebook status.
It was straight up job discrimination. Like, it was not a good thing.
But I had no, listen.
It was garbage.
I had...
Like, you should have no remorse.
Well, I have no remorse, but I also had no confidence in that letter. Again, I thought it was going to be swept under the rug. But no, things went quick. The person that I ended up working with was like, no, you're not done yet. Not by a long shot. I'm going to help you. And I'm like, what? You're going to write a letter. I'm like, okay. And what do you want me to put on it? All your experiences. Okay, well, it's going to be a 3-page letter. I don't care. Just write the letter. So I wrote the letter. She found the address of the director.
Oh my God.
And
that's amazing.
She's like,
that is the greatest thing ever.
She's like, I want you to email it and then I'm going to mail it. So I did.
Good for you, man.
Sure enough, X and Y no longer work at the program anymore. And I'm going, it actually worked. Where I was like, I thought you were done fighting. And I'm like, I was not done yet.
I just had to take the fight another way. because physically running yourself into the ground wasn't working for you anymore. And I respect that. That took a lot to write that letter. You wrote the letter, and that takes a lot, really.
I never expected it, but it happened. I never realized the outcome in the situation, but it worked.
Let me ask, were you intending to get somebody fired?
No.
Or were you just trying to just...
My original thing was, okay, maybe they would train these people more better or something like that with my suggestions. Maybe. Because I never wrote the word discrimination in that letter. I never wrote anything that would, kind of toss out a red flag. I just wrote my full experience. My goal was not to get anyone fired. I was just like, well, maybe they can learn based on my report. But no. What I didn't realize was there was going to be an investigation and all that good stuff. And that was it for those people.
These things do happen probably to a lot of people. Discrimination like this, it's very common for people with disabilities. It can be so slight that you don't even know that it's happening. It can start off with something as simple as your dog's not noisy dog tags.
And she didn't even know that was going to lead, we both never realized.
I had no idea.
That would escalate.
I had no idea.
Now that
I
older,
really didn't know.
Now that we're older, if we see something like that, we know something's going to go down.
Oh,
here.
yeah. The dog tag issue was never a problem. My dog, if he shifted at night, he shifted at night. It never woke any of the campers up. At first, I would put another collar on him at night, but then I got tired of having to change collars before we went out to work every day. So I said, screw it, and I left his tags on. Nobody complained. The issue that started this was not even an issue in the first place.
And now we know. The message that we want to get across with this conversation is for people who are blind and visually impaired that are going into a job setting and you notice something like this, guys, try advocating first.
Mm-hmm.
Advocate, talk to the people that you're working with. And if for some reason they're not listening, go up the chain of command if you can. If the upper chain of command can't do it, well, then try to find the gun at the very top. That's a necessary escalation. Sometimes, and I know it's kind of scary to talk to the higher up bosses, but sometimes it's necessary.
My mom continues to tell me this, and I hate it. Quote, be the squeaky wheel, quote, because there's an old, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, blah, 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 blah. But the squeaky wheel can't fight alone. Friends, advocacy, if you have a good, strong support system, that can really be helpful too, because trying to advocate for what you need is a draining process. I get it. I understand. Personally, myself, we both do. Don't be afraid to stand up and say if something isn't right and something doesn't feel right.
But yeah, guys, support systems, definitely. But honestly, remember, only you know what you need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to know. Mariah's not going to know. Your support system's not going to know. Only you know what you need. Don't let any boss tell you, oh, well, we did this with another person that was blind before.
Does that mean it worked for you?
It works. It only works for them, not for you. Nope. So, guys, keep the advocacy going. Keep being your squeaky wheel. Mariah, thank you again for coming up here.
No.
And
thank you.
telling the story. And remember, guys, advocacy goes a long way. Only you know what you want. And remember, be the squeaky wheel.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Teachavision. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to check out previous shows, which are equally informative and fun as this one. Make sure to also check out our website at screenlessallies.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/ScreenlessAlliesOfficial. Do you have any suggestions or comments? Why not email us, info@screenlessallies.com. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.